Welcome to the meeting room at Global TV Talk Show, a broadcast service of globalbusinessnews.net.
Now, here's your host, Ed Cohen.
Hi, this is Ed Cohen in San Diego, California, and you're on Global Business News TV, a talk show. And we're broadcasting from Mexico City. With us is Stephen Howard from Caliente Leadership. Hi again, Stephen.
Good day, Ed.
And Rigoberto Velasquez with Newland Chase. Hello, in Mexico City. And also Andres Castro. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Perfectly.
Yeah, okay, great. So, Mr. Castro, please quickly introduce yourself more formally than I just did.
Hi, Ed, thanks for inviting us. I'm Andres Castro. I'm from Mexico City. I'm a partner and commercial director in Grupo MAP, Marketing and Promotion. We are an agency holding that we run publicity here in Mexico City. We are one of the largest marketing agencies oriented in personal and in-store personal services and digital services as well.
Great. Okay, Rigoberto, your turn. Introduce yourself formally, please.
Sure. Well, hello, everybody. My name is Rigoberto Velasquez. I am currently working for Newland Chase in Mexico City. We are an immigration firm that we have more than 20 offices around the world. A little bit about my experience and background in the past. I have been in the mobility industry before, about 13 years. Currently, I am just starting a new journey with Newland Chase, where so far I have truly enjoyed it.
Oh, good. And but you're not an attorney, but you work to promote attorneys. Is that correct?
Is that correct? Yeah.
Right. And this is for corporate rather than individual?
More for corporates, but we have some segment of individuals that we are helping. Yeah.
Right. Okay. And your work is your personal work is focused on inbound to Mexico, or is it outbound across Latin America?
Well, I think the biggest market is certainly Mexico as a destination country. However, the outbound services for many people around the world who is traveling, especially on those times, it's very required. So yeah, so from time to time, we have, let's say, corporations that move people for a small project and they require visa for short-term trips.
Great. And so how are things going this summer for you, or the end of summer? Is it slow down, or is it just everything backed up, too much work to do?
Well, I think in previous year, in summer, definitely we were having a lot of things to do, but this summer it's kind of atypical, I think, especially because in Mexico, even though there is no restrictions on the traveling, probably in other countries there are. So I think we have a lot of job, but it's more about that we have had, and we are going to talk about it, some changes on the labor reforms and on the USMCA that has required to, let's say, legalize a lot of people who were living here. So that's the huge part that has brought us a lot of business. But I think in the last month of the year, in December, probably we will have a lot of things to do. A lot of people moving, into Mexico.
Yeah. All right, we're going to circle back to you in just a moment. So, Stephen Howard, it's been a long time since we've spoken. So since then, I see you've got 2 new jobs. So
Only one.
What's happening?
Well, I need to talk to Rigoberto. I think I'm in the process of relocating my business from Southern California to Mexico City. I see a huge opportunity in Mexico City and Latin America, and so I'm going to have to get my immigration papers here pretty soon. And so, as an individual, but yeah, I think Mexico is on the cusp of really growing quickly. I think before if the pandemic hadn't hit, I think Mexico would have really been a place to be the last couple of years. And I'm seeing it opening it up. I had a conversation with Andres last week. His business is starting to open up again. So yeah, I think we'll get into it later, but I'm pleased to be part of the Mexican business community now.
Oh, great. We're going to allow Mary Carmen Arellano. I'm sure I'm not pronouncing that right. Let's say hello to her. Coming in. Hello. Hola.
She's still connecting.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah, she let me know that she's managing director in Ulan Chase, Mexico, and let me know that we would like to participate
Very nice.
as listeners. But
Good.
let's see if she's able to connect to the camera. Otherwise, she will be listening.
Yeah. Okay, good. Well, you are very welcome to join us, Mary Carmen. And it's okay to talk and introduce yourself when you're ready. Okay.
You scared her. Too much pressure.
Oh, yeah. Hard to believe. Okay, so your involvement in Elevate, which is this new organization that you're about to lead, I think. What is it that you're elevating to?
Well, Elevate's I would call it a consortium. It's a gentleman out of the UK is running it. He's putting together consultants and speakers from around the world to both do both virtual presentations as well as live presentation, live speaking. But mostly we're all developing our own master class in our particular, like mine will be about leadership development. Others will be about mindfulness. We've got a guy in the group who used to be a senior director at Disney. And so his class will be all about customer service and how Disney delivers the Disney experience. So it's a combination of video training as well as keynote speakers around the world.
It's really interesting. I wish you well on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, so that's just another channel of opportunity.
It is. That's exactly what it is. A channel of opportunity for spreading our knowledge and our expertise pretty much across the globe.
So it's really interesting. The people from Disney seem to be stepping out. Just in the past week, I've been fortunate to have connections develop from two people from Disney. One is the mobility leader, and the other one is, let's see, I've got two others. One from India, from a company called Kyndryl, Kyndryl, and she's the benefits leader. And the other one is in Sao Paulo, Brazil. And she's in charge of international HR for an organization, a company that's called Wildlife Studios. And so you're talking about Latin America and Mexico. And interestingly, Rigoberto and I were just talking, messaging that Mexico is as a hub for USMCA, in other words, a trade agreement, and reshoring going on from Asia back into this hemisphere. Mexico is a hub for Latin America operations for worldwide business. And that you mentioned, Rigoberto, that, well, you're going to be competing against India. And so how is that? Are you seeing that front and center, or is that something on the horizon coming at you, Rigoberto?
Yeah, I think currently we're, let's say, experiencing a lot of many Indians coming into Mexico, especially for the IT, let's say, industry. So Mexico has one of the biggest advantage in terms of geography because we are close to the US. And in that point, you know, that helps that many Indians are coming here. But also, I think probably they are not here to stay. What I mean is that perhaps at some point they will come back to their country. And now what they are doing is training a lot of local people here. So that's going to bring us the expertise at some point to have Mexico as a center or cluster for many IT companies, that, especially in America, I think, and also in Europe. However, the time difference that may affect, and India may have an advantage in there. But
Right.
overall, I think, we are definitely working on that part.
Right, right. So we'll get back to that. So, Andres, from a marketing point of view, are you taking products or are you taking companies?
We're taking a little bit of both. I mean, I don't want to hear that we take a lot, but well, I think products right now are a center of attention, right? You have to know and you have to understand what people and companies are selling right now. As Rigoberto was saying, I mean, I think right now we are in the point of inflection, I could say, where we can take opportunities coming from everywhere. So if we understand the company and we are taking products and we are helping the companies to sell the products to the right people in these times right now, where it hasn't been easy. I can assure you that companies started to how can I say this to run publicity and to run ads in products to resell, to sell fast, to sell for less. So as a marketing point of view, it hasn't been easy. It has been a very hard year for us to understand how to develop a new way of communicating new products or products that were not very usable for the last 16 to 18 months. And that's the hard part right now for us in marketing to relaunch new pillars of communicating, the new way of consumption, right?
Yep. Yeah. Well, Stephen, that doesn't seem to stop you.
Well, it's the difference between being a one-man operation and trying to sell products to consumers. That Andres has a much harder task than I do. He's got to get people out there, I presume, in the grocery stores and the department stores, and giving demonstrations and giving samples, I guess. Is that correct, Andres?
Exactly.
Yeah. So what I personally have seen, I've been here on and off the last 2 years, and pretty much full time the last several months, except for a couple trips. I do see a lot more of that happening in the grocery stores. I mean, when I go grocery shopping, I'm having people come up to me and offer me samples of this, or trying to introduce this product to me. And unfortunately, with my limited Spanish at the moment, I'm not too receptive to their offers, but it'll get better in a year from now.
Oh, that's great.
But
okay,
it's an indication to me that the Mexican economy is starting to bounce back, though, when you see that kind of activity at the retail level.
That's very interesting. So, Rigoberto, your background for 14 years has been in the relocation industry with different companies, and you're bringing that expertise to the law firm, and that's because of your networking. Why is there an opportunity there? I mean, I'm sure they love your personality and all that, but what did they hire you for?
Well, certainly for developing new business. And I think, as you are mentioning, definitely the background of mobility helps a lot, especially because many of our clients belong to the mobility and HR departments. So that's for sure something that helps me. On the other hand, as you are mentioning before, I'm not an attorney. So that's kind of something that representing a firm, which I would say 60 or 70% of their employees are attorneys, are representing an attorney firm without being an attorney is definitely a challenge. However, that's what I like it. Definitely, that's what I am, working here. That means for me a lot of new things to discover, and certainly, help to bring more clients, and of course, be part of this recovery of the economy, which is happening currently.
So let's
after
talk
the
about
post-COVID.
so let's talk about this trade agreement. It's been around forever, but now it's been renegotiated, and war is going to go on, I'm sure, because politics enter into it. And in the US, this infrastructure thing is probably going to happen one way or another sometime in the next couple of years. But the spend is huge, and it's all centered around, almost all centered around transportation related things. So like that railroad deal from Canada and Kansas City merging together, and it's a direct link to Mexico. Exactly, that's what it was all about. And now the new road construction and border crossings here in San Diego, just east of here, Otay Mesa, with better crossing technology and more speed, about 40 minutes east of Tijuana, which is busy every day with legal cross-border business and transactions. So Mexico as a hub for companies around the world who want to deal in America, Canada, Mexico, and other parts of Latin America, that's all that flowing through you guys in Mexico City is certainly going to grow business, and that means growing hiring, and that means more training of people, and that's the middle class, right? That's the expansion. So, yeah, I agree with Stephen. That's just a boom mentality that's really evident here in San Diego. I'm in downtown, 8.5 miles to Tijuana, and I could see it. So, I mean, just go over the Coronado Bridge, and there's Tijuana right there. So, so we live this relationship here in San Diego. Tell me about the kinds of hiring that you see from your perch in the law firm, immigration law firm, and some of the businesses that you are personally familiar with in and around Mexico City. Who will benefit most from the growth of the Mexican middle class? Is it real estate?
Well, I don't know if the real estate is getting a benefit at all, but certainly at some point they will recover. The first question you did was about what kind of, let's say, executives were coming to Mexico, and I would say typically are the top class executives, which could be the directors, CFOs, people who are representing legally the company. So from an immigration perspective, they are, let's say, the founders who are coming, as probably Steve, who is, a potential client who is requiring a service of creating a company. We, as an immigration corporate, probably we don't help in all aspects of building a company, because you need to rely on labor attorneys, you need to rely on corporate attorneys for legal statements and things like that. So from immigration perspective, definitely the top class guys are here. And about the middle class, I would say that currently we are developing local talent to cover those positions. And what I mean by that is that probably about 10, 15 years ago, we were bringing a lot of technicians from other countries to train people. But now I would say that even many universities have been developing new professionals and careers such as mechatronics to train new local people. So currently, I think at least in, I would say, automotive industry, which is one of the most popular industries and the industry that we have more connection with the US, certainly engineers and local talent to develop even technology, it's been growing here. So the middle class certainly is getting a benefit hugely for that portion.
Yeah. So one of the last meetings that I produced, live meetings in Mexico City, was with the big insurance company, AIG. And Ernst & Young was our host sponsor in Palenque. It was a wonderful experience. And I think we had over 100 people in the room there. Someday we'll do that again. But our main contact has moved on, Gurman. So we'll have to network after this broadcast. So at that time, which was about 3 years ago, or 3.5 years ago, business was booming then. Traffic was all backed up between there and also the Santa Fe area. So I'm really excited about this opportunity to do more. And that combined with our contacts in Sao Paulo and Rio, in particular Rio and oil and gas, I see what you're into and what you're dealing with as a sort of competition with Brazil. Well, that's your competition right there, not India, as I see it. But maybe as a manufacturing center is what you're referring to. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think, definitely Brazil, it's a country where typically, I would say, global companies may decide between Mexico and Brazil as a hub for Latin America. However, currently, I think Mexico it's not only been a hub for Latam, but also for globally, even for other countries in other time zones. So that this is the part where that's why I say probably India is our new competitor, but Brazil is still there, and I think many great companies are moving to Brazil now, as they struggled probably a couple of years ago. Many companies from Brazil moved their headquarters to Mexico, so that was like a bad moment they had. But currently, I think they are doing pretty well.
Well, it's such a big area. Geez, I think if I remember correctly, it was like a 6-hour flight from LA to Rio.
Probably more, yeah.
More.
More, like 8 hours.
Yeah,
exactly.
okay.
To Sao
Right.
Paulo, because there's no direct flight to Rio from Mexico City, I think. Well,
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
from
that
LA.
is. Well, and in fact, we stopped. I was flying Copa, and we stopped in Panama.
Panama, yeah.
Yeah, and that I think was 6 hours, and then another 6 hours. Yeah, it's long. So, Stephen, are you developing a book about your experience in Mexico?
Not yet, but I'm looking for other authors. I'll help them develop. But if you don't mind, let me add on to what Rigoberto was saying, because this is to me different from when you were here 3.5 years ago. And then I'm going to ask Andres to interject as well. But 3.5 years ago to today, the new Mercedes-Benz car here in Mexico was designed and developed in Mexico. So this is, and that's Mercedes-Benz. I mean, we're not talking, no, I won't say a name because I'll offend somebody. We're not talking about a lower brand. We're talking about a Mercedes-Benz designed here, manufactured here in Mexico. And that's, as Roberto was saying, all the technicians who came in, 3 years, 5 years, 7 years ago have transferred that knowledge to Mexico. And I think that's one of the reasons that Mexico will be at the cusp of future growth. So it's, this is not, Mexico doesn't compete with India in terms of low cost manufacturing. It does in some areas, particularly in Tijuana and other areas, there's no doubt about it. But Mexico is also going to start competing with other nations and other companies on high end stuff. The other thing I've seen, and this is just a small knowledge, this is why I wanted to ask Andres to comment on, I've seen some really good digital marketing, digital technology here in Mexico. So I've only seen a little bit, and that's why I wanted to ask Andres to kind of comment where he sees the digital marketing, digital technology industry in Mexico vis-a-vis a few years ago.
Yeah, I mean, going back a little from to talk about Brazil and Mexico and the relationships that we have, I see this as a big opportunity. I mean, we complement each other. I think so. From my standing point of view, I see a growing relationship between Brazil and Mexico. I have the chance to have some clients, some global clients that we run the LATAM account, and we have accounts in. I mean, we have an office in Argentina, and from there we can complement each other running regional accounts. I mean, we have some top 10 companies that we run the marketing, some of the marketing strategies. And as Stephen was mentioning, I think it's a big compliment that this relationship from Brazil and Mexico and Argentina and Chile and Colombia. Even Colombia is starting to grow as a very big platform and complement to Mexico, and the global companies are depending a lot on the LATAM accounts. And as Stephen was saying, the cost of operation in Mexico, I think it's a myth that it's that low cost. It's not that low cost at all. I mean, not only Mercedes-Benz, but 60% of the reinforced cars, the high quality reinforced cars for the top A brands in the world are built in Mexico. Ford Motor Company is building 3 of their most selling models this year are being assembled in Mexico. The Ford Bronco is built in Mexico. So I think Mexico is starting to grow, and it's starting to be a very important market for the whole world. I mean, here in LATAM, I think there's very big opportunities to keep growing as a marketer and as a digital specialist. Well, I think I am a digital specialist, but I like to believe that I am because I've been studying a lot. Just as Stephen mentioned, we're getting there. We're starting to represent a very big part of the Spanish-speaking content that's being delivered from Mexico. It's being generated in Mexico, and we're starting to get the hang of paid ads, of a lot of content, and I think we're starting to move into a top 10, top 15 content creators in the world. That's my point of view. I hope I'm not wrong, because I would be running another business in a few years.
Hi, this is Ed, and I thank you for tuning in to Global TV Talk Show, a unit on globalbusinessnews.net. We broadcast to the world, as you know by now. So I wanted to make sure that you understand that our programs are advertising supported. We're grateful for co-sponsors, advertisers. They have a marketing budget coupled with a strong desire to be associated with our top quality program. And of course, I'm grateful. Thank you. So for the next few minutes, you're going to see some commercials. It's mostly very low key, and our prices are very, very reasonable. Our exposure for the advertisers go 12 months and beyond. Some of our advertisers have been with us since March, April of 2020. And Google Analytics has tracked over 125,000 what they call audience page views, which means you looking at this page, that's a page view. Now, if you happen to go to one of our other shows or to our radio broadcasts or to our newspaper or magazine, those become additional page views as measured by Google Analytics. And so when they say 125,000 since spring of 2020 up through Labor Day, a month ago, that's pretty good numbers. And the past 30 days, Google Analytics has measured just under 6,000 audience page views. And that, according to them, is a 42% increase in audience participation over the month of August. So thank you very much. Well, here's our advertisers, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes or so, and we'll proceed with this interesting conversation. Thank you.
This episode from the meeting room of Global TV Talk Show is brought to you by
The Bridge School, the accredited international online private school of choice, at bridgek12.org.
Porch Light Rental and Destination Services. Reduce your renter lump sum or managed relocation costs. Visit them at porchlightrental.com.
And by airs.com. With our full range of services, we can help design and manage your international relocation. Find us at airs.com.
Primestone Partners, featuring corporate, government, and developer housing solutions, as well as senior-level advisory services. Find them at primestonepartners.com.
And by International Auto Source. We are the vehicle experts for expats, featuring all major brands of automobiles with flexible solutions and financing. On the web at intlauto.com.
Become a global player in your field.
Cross Culture to Go provides virtual support for your global business and career success.
We can help you thrive in 140 plus countries and markets.
On the web at crossculturetogo.com.
Something that's really neat is that the Bridge School partners with various organizations to provide learning for their students. For example, we partner with a major ballet company, and we are able to enroll several of their students into our school. So now not only is the student able to participate in a school and have a seamless transition while they're very active in their ballet career, but now they have other dancers that are with them that are doing some of the same courses. So it's almost becoming a camaraderie where they're taking similar courses, they're working together on their ballet, and really being able to form this great partnership with these organizations to provide a needed service. A lot of times there are student athletes who will spend hours and hours at the gym or at the basketball courts, wherever it is. And if they're attending a traditional school, they're in school from 8 to 3. They get a quick snack, and then they're at the gym for 3 to 4 hours in the evening. Coming to us and having that partnership, they're able to break that up throughout the day. They can have a morning practice, get some schooling in, have an afternoon practice, finish their schooling in the evening. So there's that flexibility. And additionally, if there are tournaments or performances, it's fantastic because if there's a week where they have shows straight through, they can take that week off of learning and then pick back up when they're done. So it offers this great flexibility. And for the program owners of these sports leagues, it is a win-win situation for them because they see this need. They see this need that their students need to make sure that they are obtaining the grades necessary to be successful adults in our country and in other countries. But it provides them an environment where they can be successful at both.
Hi, I'm Sergey Gorbatov.
I'm Angela Lane.
Together we are researchers, writers and practitioners in the field of human resources.
And we've also been multi-country, multi-assignment career expats.
We owe our professional development and growth to a very large extent to the international assignment opportunities that we have had.
But in a world where distributed work may become the norm, we also want to understand what happened to the nature, duration, and purpose of international assignments.
Together with our colleague, Julian Dalzell from the University of South Carolina, we're undertaking a study on the future of expatriation.
And we'd value your contribution. You can participate in this important study by completing a simple 10-minute questionnaire.
Access the questionnaire by typing in your browser tinyurl.com/expert study. That's tinyurl.com/expert study. You can also find the link here on Ed's website next to this video.
Thank you for joining us in this study. In return for your contribution, we'll provide you with a copy of our research.
And of course, you'll be invited to an exclusive webinar hosted by Ed, where we will share our findings right here on Global Business News.
And so please go to tinyurl.com/expat study. Take the survey so that we can better understand the future of expatriation.
So because it's there's millions of Spanish-speaking people at your command, and it doesn't work that way here in the U.S. But you're right there, and it's a bridge. That's perfect voice for
Exactly.
for your community.
Some of the biggest creators in digital platforms are based in Mexico, are from Mexico. We're one of the countries that consume more content from Facebook than the rest of the world. I think we are the second or the third country that produces most of this content. And here the content producers or influencers, as we call them in the digital world, are starting from zero in Mexico, and there's one of the biggest or most successful cases that I know of a content creator or influencer, as we know them. It's Juan Pazurita. I think he's a worldwide recognized influencer right now. I met this star. I mean, for me, he's a star. I met him like 5 years ago. He was this 17-year-old kid, very talented, very articulated, and now he's one of the most influential people in I think in LATAM as a content creator. So I think we're growing. I think we're getting to a point that when you think of digital content creators, people are starting to think of Mexico as a big platform, and I think it's important to keep innovating in this kind of moving world.
I would say it's just not digital also, Ed. I mean, your friend Mark Colo, I helped him publish his book. His book cover was designed by a graphic artist here in Mexico City. My last two book covers were designed by the same gentleman. And Adriana, in her book on When Strong Women Speak, her 3 book covers were all designed by the same gentleman. So, there's some good graphic artists as well in Mexico and producing really nice work.
Yeah, interesting stuff. So Rigoberto, about your background, if we could just step back there and take a look from your view of managing mobility relationships, partnering with different mobility providers to secure the right people and keep things whole for them and the company, in order to save the relationships and be productive. So you see that happening in the new year for sure, right? And maybe even sooner.
Yeah. So you mean like in terms of the digitalization of the business per se, or
just an increase in volume and more companies getting ready to recruit internationally.
Correct. Yeah. And I mean, and even what I have seen also is that they are relying also in Mexico, perhaps to cover other areas for developing business or managing relationships from here in a home office base. So definitely hiring and bringing more new people into the businesses is something that is happening during this quarter of the year, and probably next year will be even bigger, the number of people.
So as we sit here at the end of September, the fourth quarter is coming, the clock is ticking, and we have like 6 or 7 weeks left to market and get things done. That's a little nerve-wracking, isn't it? So especially because things have been so awkward and slow and unusual the past more than a year and a half, and things seem to want to pick up, but sluggish, at least from my view here in San Diego. So it's like fits and starts. It's like you think it's going to explode and then nothing happens, and then some things trickle in. And so are you seeing that too? And what do you want our audience to take away from this show about Newland Chase in Mexico City?
Well, I always have said that the immigration process of any company moving from one country to another, it's basically the backbone of the entire relocation process. And this is not precisely because I work for Newland Chase, but the thing is that if you don't have a visa or an immigration process in place, then you cannot move forward with other processes. So we are definitely the center of, or the first step of any immigration process. And well, I think definitely we are here to support, even though I am not a fully attorney. Definitely I should mention that the team that works for the company, it's very passionate about their job and really like to help people and support many assignees coming into Mexico. So that's the part that certainly it's helped us. Currently I think we have a biggest portion of the market. Certainly there are competitors outside, but generally speaking, we are helping and supporting many companies for the immigration processes.
So would you market directly to a corporate general counsel, or would you stick within your the venue of relationships with the relocation management companies instead of going direct to general counsel?
Currently, I think we are covering all kinds of clients. We are partnering for sure with relocation companies, with moving companies, or even participating directly in global engagements. So I think this new world and this new era of business is definitely about partnering. In that way, not even just limited to the part of relocation companies, but also relying on travel agencies such as Carson Wagon Lee Travel, which is a big company in the world for travel. Well, I don't know. I think we are very connected even with the hotel industry in terms of how they allocate the tourism. I think it was a client from California. He about 1 month ago, he's a promoter. I think I don't remember the name of the company, but he was willing to bring about, 50 artists into Mexico to perform a show. And probably the COVID situation is not helping a lot, but this kind of industry, which is at the end show performance, it's at the end connected with the immigration part. And we in Newland Chase definitely support them on all of that part, which is very, very, needed in terms of bringing people in the right and legal way. There is more, let's say, Herman, you were mentioning Herman. Herman, for that case, is supporting us in the tax perspective, which at the end, it's part of a whole situation. So, at this point, we are very open to keep engaging with more and more partners globally.
Great. Thank you. So, Andres, from a product marketing in Mexico, what's going to be hot this Christmas buying season?
I hope brands will still be willing to put money in the table to make this new way, as I mentioned earlier, to communicate the new way of consuming. As you mentioned before, I mean, it's the last quarter, it's the last lap in the race for the Mexican market. Many Mexicans we like to say that after September 16th, the year is over, because it's Independence Day, then it's Dia de Muertos, then it's the Virgin Mary's Day, and then it's Posadas and everything. But we in the marketing industry like to say that the last quarter for us, it's a high school exam. It's a final test where you only can get 10 or 0. There's no in between. So many companies are in the closing up their budgets for next year. So that's where we come in. That's where we have to come in, because if we don't, then next year we are going to be sitting and watching the ceiling. So for us and for the mass marketing, the mass market consuming products, we like to start planning ahead. And I think companies will start to produce again, to move up again, and that's what we're here to help them do, to help them plan for next year. Nobody planned this situation, but well, we have to understand that's where we're standing. And if we see it as an opportunity, and companies understand that there's an opportunity on educating the new way of consuming, I think there's an opportunity in everything. And that's what I see. That's what we are betting on. And our clients are confident that we are going to do the best that we know, or what we are trying to learn from this. And I think we just have to keep an eye open on new opportunities as well.
So being customer-centric is really what you're talking about. And so let's just talk about the ultimate consumer rather than a business consumer just for a second. And Stephen, I want you to jump in on this, because I'm running out of brain power here on this topic. Andres, using digital to get a message across, it's just not putting an ad on Facebook or on LinkedIn, but it's targeting the messages to individuals within companies who can influence the company, right?
That's exactly right. I mean,
right.
I hope it would be as easy as running an ad, right? Because then you pay and you run an ad, and everything goes smoothly from there. As you mentioned, targeting right now is one of the most important things that you can do. And I mean, you have to go to this micro targeting. 2 years ago, you could say, okay, I'm targeting my product. I'm targeting these to these people and these other people. But right now, you have to go all the way to that micro targeting. You have to understand the data. We are a data-based agency. Everything that we run through clients is data-based. We only run strategies where we know for sure that data is on our side, because right now consumers, as you mentioned, I mean, they know what they want. They ask for what they want, and it's not like 10 years ago that you buy a shirt and it is what it is, right? Right now, if you don't listen to the consumer, if you don't get these insights, you're nothing, and your brand will be consumed by some other brand, and you could probably be in the market for 20 years and a whole new brand will eat you alive, right? So I think right now, as you said, we have to target everything. Everything has to be data-based. We have to concentrate on that data and bring new insights from that data.
Stephen?
Yeah, I totally agree. Particularly on the consumer thing, I see so much pent up demand. And as you know, Ed, my background originally was in marketing and in consumer marketing. So I always have my eye on it. And there is so much pent up demand. And as Andrea said, this is a peak buying season, the Dia de Muertos, a lot of expenditure. Of course, Christmas is a huge opportunity within Mexico and the rest of Latin America. And if people are holding back their marketing budgets now for the rest of this year, they're going to get slaughtered. They're going to lose market share. They're going to lose brand identity. They're going to get replaced by the other brands. And, and I know a lot of this show is focused on the American business community. The American manufacturers, particularly consumer goods, should look at Mexico as a almost like the 51st state in some regards. I mean, there is a huge opportunity across this country in terms of the consumer marketplace. And I know in the U.S., because I lived there, and the press on Mexico is so negative, and it's gangs run the country and all that. My advice to Americans is, there are parts of Detroit City and Chicago that I personally wouldn't walk in. I personally wouldn't market
San Diego,
in. Yeah, maybe in San Diego as well. There's certainly parts of Mexico that I wouldn't go to. But you know what? That's maybe 10% of the country. The other 90%, you've got a huge opportunity here. And the other thing I'm very positive about is the new U.S. ambassador has just arrived, a gentleman named Ken Salazar, who was a former United States Senator, a former Attorney General in the state of Colorado, well connected politically in Washington, D.C., well connected with the business community in the United States. I think he's going to be a fantastic ambassador in helping American companies identify opportunities here and gain those opportunities in Mexico.
Yeah, sort of like a PR guy, right?
Well, yeah, and that's often what U.S. ambassadors often are, particularly when the commercial situation is so important. I mean, as you know, I lived in Asia for a long time, and lived in Singapore, and the U.S. ambassador was basically the commercial ambassador in many regards with Singapore, and that's how a lot of U.S. technical companies start investing in Singapore. So I think I'm very optimistic about the opportunity here. And I think this show is going to go a long ways, because you should get a good audience listening to these kind of conversations and understanding what the opportunities are for Mexico and the opportunities for Latin America.
Yeah, okay. We want to welcome our friend from Sao Paulo. Hello. Hola.
Hello, how are you?
Yeah, it's been a while, Maria. So please introduce yourself quickly.
I'm Patricia Tavares. Sorry for the time I'm joining. And I only had 15 minutes between one meeting and the other, but I needed to be here to support Rigo, because I really like working with Rigo. And Ed also. It's been a long time since we spoke.
Thank you.
I'm the co-founder for Brazil Talks and Latam Talks. And I am also the country director for K2 Corporate Mobility here in Brazil.
Yeah, great. And before that, you were with some other company.
Before that, I spent 5 years at Unilever as Global Mobility Head for Americas. And then before that, with HSBC as Global Mobility Head for Americas.
Yeah. So where do you get your energy to do all this stuff?
I think it's from the Latin blood.
Or the Latin food.
I risk saying that.
Or the Latin food.
So okay, I want to introduce you to Stephen Howard, who's in Mexico City, and he is an author of 21 books about leadership, mainly in the corporate setting, and he's a co-host with me on a TV series we developed called Strive XL and Thrive XL. And it sounds like you're striving and thriving yourself.
I'm always striving and thriving.
Yeah, that's cool. And meet Andres Castro from Mexico City, and he's a marketing guy.
Hi, Patricia. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Andres, also.
So Patricia has been on a couple of my shows, and so K2 is a British company, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. K2 is a relocation management company. headquartered in the UK. Okay, we are in 18 countries physically, and we have offices in all of these countries, and we do work globally. And the office in Brazil, responsible for LATAM, also just opened this year in April. So that's why I moved over.
Oh, very interesting. Wow.
Mhm.
Okay, so I thank you. So Brazil Talks, is that weekly, or do you do it any day you get somebody who wants to talk?
No, now this year I had to reduce it because I wasn't managing to support Brazil Talks, LATAM Talks, K2, and everything else. So we're doing it once a month only now, and Brazil Talks once a month, and LATAM Talks once a month also.
So are you getting Juliana to help you?
Juliana helps me. She's always on the backstage. She doesn't like very much going on stage. So normally she helps us with finding people, with getting the best person to talk about the subject. And that's how we work together. We partner a lot though.
Yeah, now she's an attorney also, but she has a relocation company called what, IGO?
IGO, yeah.
Yeah.
She's concentrating more on immigration and tax now. She's not working so much with relocation, but she's really, really strong on immigration and has a few tax clients also that come along with the immigration.
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
So we've been talking about the trade agreement between Mexico, Canada, and U.S. and the growth of the Mexican middle class as a result of increased trade, not just with the U.S. and Canada, but around the world. Mexico becoming a manufacturer, already is, and becoming more of a manufacturing and distribution center across Latin America. But you guys in Brazil, you're the competition.
No, we never compete between the Latins, right, Rigo?
Never.
Never.
Somos todos
We
amigos,
partner.
no?
We're all
Claro.
friends.
Yeah,
Partners.
no, our main competition here, Ed, and this is for everything, including soccer, is Argentina. That really is competition.
They're outside Latin America. They're just
Yeah. Like the
Well,
Brexit,
I mean,
yeah.
when you look at the map, Brazil is like giant, and then Argentina is like the skinny kid.
Yeah,
they are the skinny kid.
they are the skinny kid.
I'm sure we're going to lose 1% of our audience tomorrow.
I'm going to lose
No, but
my
I was
partners.
just joking. I was just joking. I love Argentinian wine. So
Yeah, oh, Malbec is great. Yes,
Yeah.
and steak, but I like Brazil steaks too.
yeah.
I'm
So
trying to
I'm sorry.
touch all
I don't want to
bases.
I don't want to interrupt you guys. I'll just keep really quiet here listening.
No,
Because
it was
I
just,
don't have much to talk about Mexico. I just it's because I really like Rigo. He's like a friend for me. So when I saw it on LinkedIn today, I said I have to join at least to say hi to Rigo and to Ed.
Well, gracias. Thank you. All right. So I invite you to come back on Global TV someday when you have the time. I don't think you will, but maybe between now and Thanksgiving. But
I'm sure we'll find someday, Ed, someday in common.
Yeah,
you're available and so am I.
Yeah, great. All right. Well, thank you very much for being on the show. Andres, so what do you want to talk in the final minute here of, actually, you can take 2 minutes if you want.
Right. Well, just to close what we're all talking about, I mean, I think the real thing here is, as I've been mentioning for the past 52 minutes, is to really understand or to see an opportunity in everything, right? I mean, last year, at the end of the year, the last quarter of the year, we marketers were really trying to understand what would be next for marketing, for communicating, for building these new strategies to understand the new ways of purchasing, to run the marketing funnel, and really know where should we stand, where the brands should stand. And I mean, it has been a rough year. It has been a long year, but the opportunity is there, and if you're willing to take it, and the market is there. People are still consuming. People have to buy things, everyday things, or luxury brands, or whatever. I mean, there's an opportunity everywhere. So it depends on how you see it, on how you take it, and how you execute the next steps, and the way you adapt to the new normal, right? I hate to say the new normal, but it's just the way it is. And I think for where we stand in the marketing way of doing things, the market is there, the demand is there, and people buying and people selling. It's from, I mean, before the dinosaurs were in the world. So we have to adapt. We have to adapt to a new way of consuming, and a new way of communicating what the brands are offering to consumers, right? That's where I stand, and I think there's a lot of things to do, and a long way to go still.
Yeah, thank you for that insight. Crisply said. Thank you. So I saw a phrase while I was doing research this morning to prep for this that caught my eye, and so I want to just say it. It says, when you use Zoom or the video, you're actually seeing someone's voice. You know, just think of that. In Brazil talks also, you know, seeing the voice, not just seeing a face, you know, but it's like a combination somehow of in-person and virtual. I call it VIP, virtual, in-person, and you're actually seeing a voice when you have somebody reach out, like I'm reaching out and shaking hands with Andres and Rigo and Steven, and, you know, wish we could do a hug, but, you know, someday. So in Brazil, it's, are you finding the use of Zoom and similar vehicles at helping you?
Yes, so we feel here in Brazil, there's actually an expression which is a Zoom burnout, right? So many sessions, so many webinars, so many meetings, so many everything, right? And in the beginning of the pandemic, that we felt exactly what you said. So it was necessary to turn on the videos, right? Before the pandemic, how many meetings did we have without turning on our videos or our cameras? It was just a quick call, you know, on Teams or on Zoom or whatever it is. And you didn't have to worry or be concerned about turning on your video, because you knew that in the next in-person event, you were going to see that person, right? With the beginning of the pandemic last year, we noticed that everybody was like, turn on your video so I can see you. Oh my God, it's so good to see you again, and everything. So I think it really does make a difference having the camera on. And I see lots of companies that are sort of making it mandatory for you to have the camera on when you're even in internal meetings, right? And it's become a habit. So today, when you go on to a meeting, a virtual meeting, and you see somebody without their camera on, it's like, wow, what's happening? I think that person's not paying attention. What is happening? Why is the person doesn't have a camera on? Right. So I think it was not a 360, but a 180 turn on videos and cameras. And I totally agree. Looking at you makes me feel like I'm seeing your voice. It's true.
Doesn't that go, Steven? What do you think?
Yeah.
Well, I did the Zoom problem here. I had to unmute myself.
That's the typical question, right? Or comment, you're on mute.
Yeah, I semi-agree. I have to admit that I do a lot of training, facilitation, educational work on Zoom. And sometimes I will, as a facilitator, turn my camera off because I want people to focus on the content or on each other. I want them to discuss between themselves and not interact with me. And part of that's cultural, particularly when I do training with people in Asia. They see me as the quote expert and the teacher, the professor, and so very respectful, and they focus on me, and I want them to focus on the content. I want them to focus on their colleagues. So there's it's situational. It's how you use Zoom, how you use your camera, but it's been a great tool, and if we had this pandemic in 1969, we would have had a Great Depression worldwide, because we would not have known how to communicate with each other. We would not have been able to communicate with each other. Businesses would have collapsed around the world. And so fortunately, we have this technology to get us through these troubling times.
Rigo, thank you for helping me organize this thing. And I want to invite you to come back. My plan is to do a series about the Western Hemisphere, with the focus being USMCA and whatever other trade agreements exist. I'm sure there are others, but Mercosur, I guess, is in your area. And I'd like to talk more about business development, cross-border, across time. The Zoom allows us to collapse time, collapse space, and make things happen. Thank you.
Anytime.
Great. All right. So, Stephen, thank you again.
My
Patricia,
pleasure.
it's great to see you. I hope we're within your 15-minute window.
We are, and I was just gonna say I have to say goodbye, but thank you so much, and I'm sorry I barged in interrupting.
Are you kidding? You made us all look
conversation.
Oh, thank you, Patty, for joining. It's been always a pleasure. And now, especially because we as partners, or we as business partners, we keep our relationship. And thank you for joining again. Hopefully, one day I will be able to join to Brazil Talks, maybe.
Yeah,
yes,
so,
we're waiting. We're waiting for everybody on LATAM Talks, because it is in Spanish. So if it helps, LATAM Talks is in Spanish. Always the first Thursday of the month, the LATAM Talks is.
How interesting.
Wonderful.
So
great.
So Rigo, let's talk and stay in touch. I'm very interested to begin planning Mexico City conference for January, February after Carnival, or maybe when Carnival happens. Might be a good idea to do that. I just hope to meet you in person.
Thank you, Ed. Thanks, everyone. Nice to meet you guys.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you also. Thank you.
Nice to meet you. Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us in the meeting room at Global TV Talk Show.
Have a wonderful day, and stay safe.